All right, ladies, let's talk about it. Because if you're in your 40s or 50s, I know you have felt like your body is starting to change and you've noticed those subtle symptoms. I know I have, so I'm right there with you. You may have noticed that your energy feels different, your weight has changed or isn't responding like it used to, your sleep patterns have shifted, and maybe even your digestion feels off. So if these things sound familiar, this isn't in your head, you're not imagining it, and your body is not broken. This is midlife. And midlife is a real physiological change that's occurring, and we just need to recalibrate. Things aren't declining. I know it can feel like that. Your body's not broken. There's no dysfunction. Things are just changing. So we need to change with that. And that can happen when we start to understand why are they shifting. So let's talk about that. Okay, so the obvious one, we're having hormonal shifts. One of the biggest drivers of these symptoms is the shifting estrogen and progesterone. And this can happen fairly early on, way before you may even pick up on symptoms. So early mid 30s, 35, late 30s, early 40s, you might start to notice changes in your metabolism. You may start to notice changes in your sleep. And this is a decline in the progesterone. So first our progesterone starts to decline. As we get into the later mid 40s, later 40s and 50s, our estrogen is naturally declining. And these sex hormones play such an important role in metabolism and our insulin sensitivity. So we talked about that last video, but how well insulin is helping to transport sugar into the cell for energy production. Hormones influence our brain chemistry and our inflammation. And as they fluctuate, women pick up on increased belly fat. We can notice cravings with like carbs or sugar, or maybe more sensitivity to those things. Mood changes is a big one, of course, and then sleep disruption. There's a big metabolic shift. Okay. So as insulin starts to shift, how well insulin is helping sugar get into the cell. So our insulin sensitivity, this can greatly affect our blood sugar stability throughout the day. And our body responds to blood sugar differently than it used to. So, what was working the previous decades may not necessarily be working for us now. Strategies that once worked may suddenly stop working. And this can be very frustrating. We're going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the video. And then stress and cortisol. So layer on all the additional stressors in life, the poor sleep that's raising your sugar and your cortisol levels. This is causing cortisol dysregulation. So our cortisol patterns throughout the day start to shift, which further contribute to the fat storage, the food cravings, the fatigue, and the blood sugar swings. And something that I feel like is rarely discussed is that your gut health and the microbiome within the gut also changes midlife. And the microbiome plays a major role in all these things as well. So, a huge role in metabolism, inflammation, and hormone balance. So, when there's an imbalance in the gut, you may notice increased bloating. You may notice changes in your bowel habits. So, things may be more sluggish. You can see signs of inflammation. And this all plays into how well we are metabolizing our hormones. And so you can have worsening hormone symptoms as well. So when a woman comes to me and says, I feel like my body changed overnight, I believe them because guess what? She's right. And I've experienced this as well. It's very, very, very common. I think we are talking about it more. So women are more in tune with their bodies and picking up on it as well. And the encouraging part is when we understand these shifts, there are simple things that we can do to support our body. And you've heard all these things online. These things are being discussed throughout multiple social media platforms, but I wanted to talk today about why they're being discussed and why they're such an important piece midlife. So you've heard of protein. Starting with protein is essential. It's going to help with that blood sugar stability. It's fueling your body with what your body is asking for. So your body is asking to make the shifts to help with the blood sugar stability. And we do that with building muscle and eating more protein. It's going to help you feel more full as well. Building muscle is going to support your metabolism and with that insulin sensitivity. So, the more muscle that we build, our body is able to better regulate blood sugar and get sugar into the cell. Muscle, I feel like, equals metabolic health. It's one of the greatest tools you have for insulin sensitivity. So this becomes increasingly important in midlife, which is why you're hearing everyone really push for resistance training and weightlifting. And that goes along with blood sugar, supporting your blood sugar. So as we approach midlife, our blood sugar spikes become more prominent and more frequent, and simple strategies like eating balanced meals with that protein, pairing carbs with a healthy protein or fat, and avoiding constant snacking can make a huge difference for our blood sugar, but also our gut health. So I just wanted to touch on a little bit of why you are hearing these things in social media. And they're not just a trend. Like, there is a lot of research to support why we need to really start focusing in on these things, particularly in midlife. So um thanks for being here, and we'll talk a little bit more in the next video. So thanks for being here. So bottom line, my goal is to give you hope and inspiration. Midlife is not when your body is starting to break down. Your body is just shifting, so it's asking for a different kind of support. And by doing, full lab panel and by looking at your symptoms and paying attention to those clues, we can start to respond to those new needs. And when we do that, your body will respond beautifully. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in my next video.